Hello, YouTube, and welcome to The Real Siberius. On this episode, I wanted to talk about what does it mean to be a competitor. I think there's a lot of misconceptions about what being a competitor means, especially in the modern era. I think people think you're a competitor because you play the game, because you score baskets, because you play half-ass defense. To me, that's not being a competitor. I mean, that's playing a sport, but that's not being a competitor. I genuinely believe that the last competitor that was in the NBA was Kobe Bryant. Being a competitor to me is having an unwillingness to not give your best, to not try your hardest. And it doesn't mean you're going to win every time. Competitors lose. It's an unfortunate byproduct of playing sports. You will lose. And I think if you add up all of your wins and losses over the entirety of playing sports in your life, you will lose more than you win. And I think that's hard for competitors. I'm not sure many competitors ever come to terms with that. I think it puts a chip on your shoulder and it makes you angry. And even 20 years, 30 years, 50 years after you're done playing, those losses still hurt. They still make you angry. And you still think of what you could have done better to change the outcome of the game. Now, ever since my accident, I can't play any sports anymore. Thankfully, I still have enough mobility to exercise, enough strength to exercise, and I don't want to lose that strength, which is why I continue to exercise, but I can't play sports anymore. That's just the reality. I don't get the luxury of that anymore. But it doesn't mean I don't compete. I was going to say I play Overwatch 2. I play with my brother and with my nephew, and I can't not compete. I'll be fucked if somebody's going to be better than me. I can't accept it. I can't be the weak link on the team, despite the fact that I am 18 years older than my brother. I am 16 years older than our friend that plays with us, and I am 33 years older than my nephew that we play with. I will not be the worst on the team, and I want to be the best on the team. So I put in hours by myself. I do training drills. I do practice. I do aim training. I take it way too seriously. I'm almost 50 years old and I still get pissed off at a video game because I don't like to. No, I hate to lose. I'd love to win, but I hate to lose, and hate is a far more powerful emotion than love. And I just don't think that there's a lot of that in sports in general. I think if you look at football, basketball, tennis, golf, whatever, I just feel a distinct lack of competitors in sports in general. And I think that's a reflection on our society. I think once we decided that some aspects of masculinity are toxic and we've been driving them out of men and making them feel bad for it, I don't think that's healthy. I mean, don't get me wrong. There are absolutely human behaviors that are toxic. I'm not even going to say masculine or feminine behaviors, human behaviors that are toxic and should absolutely be addressed and people need to work on and change. However, competition is not one of them. I was going to say our primal instinct to fight. And when I say fight, I don't mean push through or carry on. I mean throw punches at each other and beat the hell out of each other. That we are animals. That is a human instinct, especially amongst men. We have far more testosterone. That's where that comes from. Sometimes dudes just want to beat the hell out of each other, and it's what they need to do. Can it go too far? Without question. But I think there's a distinct lack of competition. There's a distinct lack of testosterone. And there's a distinct lack of masculinity. And it permeates all aspects of our lives. I think a lot of it has to do with we're men raised by women, and that's certainly not taking away anything from women. I was going to say, but without a male role model, without a male influence, it's hard to know how to act. I mean, I grew up without my dad. I didn't really get to know him in my life until I was 19, so I had already grown up. I had 2 sisters and my mother. I didn't have a masculine energy in my life. I didn't have a masculine influence in my life. And so my instinct was, whatever my sisters and mom do, I'll do the opposite. That didn't necessarily always work out very well. I got in a lot of trouble. I got injured a lot. I started using drugs, but I didn't have anybody to show me the way. And I had to find it on my own. And I certainly made mistakes, but in reality, I think I did a pretty good job of figuring it out. I'm certainly a man now, but competition is important. I think it can define who we are. I think when you're a competitor and you lose, you learn from that, you grow from that. It helps you become a stronger person, especially when you lose and fail and overcome and triumph. There's something visceral about that. You can't replicate it. You can't manufacture it. It's something that you have to do. It's something you have to experience yourself. And I just feel like that's missing, and it makes me sad. I hope that with the newer generations, Gen Alpha, I think it is, that will start to come back. You know, the pendulum is constantly swinging, and sometimes it goes too far to the right. Sometimes it goes too far to the left, but it's constantly in motion. So things are always changing. As humans, just within my lifetime, from the 70s, 80s, 90s, 2000s, 2010s, 2020s, I feel like I've seen our society and our civilization go through a myriad of challenges, obstacles, but also triumphs and victories. And sometimes we go too far one way, sometimes we go too far the other, but it always seems to find a way to correct itself. And I think we've certainly gone too far in one way, and I'm hoping we'll correct and it'll start to swing back the other, and people will realize we certainly need to grow. We certainly need to change. We certainly need to adapt, but we can't lose the essence of who we are in doing so. And I think sometimes people forget that human beings are animals. And we have animal instincts and animal nature. And if you try to stifle them for too long, it will come back and bite you in the ass, because we do like to fight. We do like violence. We do like confrontation. It's in our genetics. There's nothing that we can do to stop it. But when you try to suffocate it, when you try to shelter yourself from it, it doesn't go away. It just lies dormant and builds and builds and builds until it explodes. And that's when catastrophic things happen. I think we have to learn from it. I think we have to nurture the good. And I think we have to temper the bad. But I think it's possible. I think it's possible to do both of those things, so we don't go too far one way or the other. Compassion is great. Positivity is great, but taken too far, they become toxic as well. When you live in a world where there's no acknowledgement of what's wrong, that becomes toxic positivity. And you can't fix the problem until you acknowledge that there is a problem. I know this kind of got off topic as far as being a competitor, but I think it all feeds in to being a competitor. I just want to see sports grow, but grow in the right way. And maybe the physicality of the Bad Boy Pistons was too far. And I would agree with that. But I think the passivity, I don't know if that's the right word. My brain doesn't work all the time. The passivity of the defense and physicality in the modern era has gone too far the other way. There needs to be a happy medium because one is assault and the other is boring cowardice. I don't know. I don't even know how to describe it. It's certainly not interesting. It's not something I invest my time or energy in. I love sports. I have my entire life. I've been a fan of the NBA and the NFL for 41 years. And that makes me feel old. But I have, and I watched religiously. It was my religion. It was my church. Every Sunday, every day, tuning into the game was like going to the cathedral for me. It was cathartic. It made me feel. And I don't get that anymore from any sport because there are no competitors. There's still competition. I mean, a game, two teams against each other is competition, but that doesn't mean there are competitors. And it's sorely missing. And it hurts me. And I know that there are people that feel similarly. I listen to these other YouTube channels. I watch these other videos. I participate in these conversations. And I think a lot of people feel the same way. And if so many people feel the same way, we can absolutely help institute that change. I firmly believe that if you're not a part of the solution, you're a part of the problem. And I don't want to be a part of the problem. I want to at least be a voice that's out there saying, this is what's wrong. This is how we can fix it. I did 2 videos recently. One is 10 problems with the modern NBA. And there are so many problems. I had to do another one, 10 more problems with the modern NBA. But because I just don't want to point fingers and lay that responsibility at other people's feet, I also created a video about 10 ways to save the NBA. I want to be a voice on both parts because I think you have to be a voice on both parts. If I'm just tearing it down, if I'm just belittling it, I'm not helping it. I'm not instituting change that I want to see. I'm not being a voice of reason to make these changes. So I think it's important for everyone to do that. I've been watching videos and enjoying the content that people have created for years. I mean, hell, decades now. And the reality is it took smashing my head in to get the balls to finally do it. I talked about this in my overcoming adversity video, but when you can touch your brain through the thin layer of skin on your head, nothing can make you feel more vulnerable than that. So now talking into a microphone and publishing it on a platform where people can potentially say negative comments, that's nothing in comparison. People could call me every name in the book and say my opinions are stupid and belittle everything I have to say and attack me personally. The reality is I'm not going to care. I've dealt with so much more severe shit in my life that's nothing. That doesn't even register as stress or an inconvenience in my life. That's what real struggle can do for you, is give you perspective and strength. That's certainly what it's given me. I know I went off on another tangent here, but I hope you made it to the end of the video. If you have, I appreciate it. Please like and subscribe if you haven't. Also comment. I would love to have a dialogue. I'd love to have a conversation about it. As always, I want to give a shout out to the content creators that have inspired me to create this channel. Uncommon Sense, Angry Old Hoops, Self-Research NBA Facts, 93Z, Sports and Fitness Rants, Uncut Hoops, Scap Attack, The Basketball Show, Speam Engine, In Your Face Hoops, Eddie TV. All of you have and continue to inspire me with your perspective, with your takes, with your humor. And I just want to say thank you. I'll see you guys in the next one.